Let's go! Legend! 1, 2, 3, go!
Hi, welcome to the Comic Con Community Podcast. This is episode 7. My name's Will.
Hi, I'm Paul, and joining us today is writer, director, and actor Craig Quinn. Welcome, Craig.
How's it going?
Welcome,
Good,
Craig.
how's yourself?
Yeah, all good, all sweet.
So, could you not pick one? Did you have to be all three?
I was kind of forced into it. I've wrote the film. Don't know any directors, so I'll direct it. And then didn't really know any actors, so I thought I'll have to be in it as well.
Not bad. So, did you start as college, school?
It was very weird how I got into it. My friends were just like, they were doing like making films, just like some spoof films. And yeah, they just asked me to be in one. And they said, you've kind of got a natural knack for acting. So like I went and explored it, went to Contact Theatre in Manchester and did things like that. I really enjoyed that. Then I went to Act Up North and just started writing my own scripts really, and just kind of learning as you went along. I was doing workshops on filmmaking and things like that. And
yeah, so, just seeing what works, like a comedian basically on stage, just seeing what works. And
yeah. So I was just basically learning from people. I was around a lot of people who knew a lot more than me about it, and and that was a good thing back in the day. Everyone was a little bit more brutal when I was starting out. So it was like, they just say that is terrible, do not release that. Where, not to be disrespectful to anybody, nobody really does that these days. It is just like, kind of go out there, get the feedback, make your mistakes, kind of thing, and then take the criticism how you want. Like back then I was very lucky to have people who said, no, that's terrible.
Working it a bit more.
Yeah. Go back to the drawing board. But I kind of like stuff like that. So yeah.
So for our listeners, you did Boarhog.
Yes.
You can find it and watch it on Amazon, like I did the other day. Congratulations, it's good.
Thank you.
So I did Amazon come about. Because it's a big step, isn't it? Because a lot of films just get straight to DVD. They don't get straight to Amazon or Netflix or stuff like that.
Yeah. With Amazon Prime, it was just basically, we put it through a place called Film Hub, and then that's like a site. You just put it up. It's kind of like the filmmaking. I don't know if it's the filmmaking version of Spotify. I'm just guessing, but we kind of just put it through there. And Amazon Prime picked it up, Apple TV did, Plex, and then a few dodgy Russian sites.
Did they actually contact you then, or did they just say, we're having that and that's it?
No, they just go, we see a film, we take, we like, we don't buy. We just take.
Was that Amazon?
Yeah. It's like, we don't buy film, we just take. So, yeah, and, So, because it was kind of like, like the Spanish horror community were getting onto it as well. We were seeing like reviews or, advertising from the Spanish side of the horror community. So, yeah. And, quite a few places picked it up. I see it, I hear of it. Oh, I watched it on this, I watched it on that. And I'm just like, right.
Oh, right. So, like I said, you didn't know. It's them just telling you.
No, it's just like wherever people say they've watched it is where they've watched it. You know what I mean?
Is horror quite big in Spain?
Didn't get higher then.
Yeah, no, nobody paid. Is horror quite big in Spain though? Is that like I've seen there are quite a few Spanish horrors, but is it like a big thing over there or?
Apparently so. From what I've seen, but a friend of mine contacted me and said, a film you did 10 years ago was on Spanish TV. And they keep saying it. And so, I don't know, they must be picking it up because, I've seen there's one review I couldn't read because I don't know Spanish that well. But I just seen Troy, Bracknell, last this, yeah. And I was just like, right, okay. Well, he gave it quite 7 out of 10, so it
That'll
must be
do.
good words.
Yeah, you're not going to say this is rubbish, are you? 7 out of 10.
Normally when I just see it's over a 5, I'm like, well, at least they thought it was more than all right.
Yeah, it's better than average.
yeah.
So I think the burning question is, why a Boarhog?
Why a Boarhog? Because Nicolas Cage, being the maverick he is, I'd already done a film called Pig. Round about the time we was writing it, and it was gonna be called Pig. So in the end, I just thought, oh right, well, he's just ruined my day, and so I was like, well, what's a more aggressive version of a pig? Obviously a boarhog. And it's a little more uglier. It's not something you'd want to keep as a pet, kind of thing, and it's not really something you'd want to pass anywhere. So yeah, that's kind of how we came across with
I thought you was going to say the Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa.
yeah.
I thought that inspired you. You saw that film and you thought, do you know what? I'm going to make a horror film of Pumbaa.
Call this film Boarhog. Watching Lion King. Just we used to watch loads of films on filming breaks, and but Lion King wasn't one of them.
Oh,
would have kind
so disappointed.
So
where did you film it all?
We filmed a lot of it in Charleston, where I live.
Yeah.
There was other bits. We went to Bury to do a lot of the hospital stuff. So a lot of that was filmed in Bury. There's other little bits of the film that were filmed in Rochdale and places like that. So just a lot of the surrounding areas. There wasn't we didn't really go. I think the furthest we went was Knutsford to film the fairground scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a good day for me. I had a massive headache, and
did you have to set up the old fairground and everything, or?
No, well, what it was, there was a fairground in town, and Reese knew who was running it. So I was like saying, because we did have a fairground in the script, but we was only planning on an establishing shot. Just getting just some random fairground when it was in town.
When it was in town, yeah.
And just doing an establishing shot of it. And so he knew them. So we could actually get on and shoot scenes in there. So a lot of that in the fairground scenes unscripted. Because we knew it was going to be where Troy and Faye come out, but we wasn't going to have them on the fairground and things like that. So a lot of that's unscripted until the bit where it all goes off.
So we're talking about horror movies. What's your favourite one?
I would say I really like the original Halloween, the 1978 one. Texas Chainsaw, the original, and I'd say the first 2 remakes. Then the 3D is just a good film to sit down with your mate and take the mick out of. So it's still a good film to me. You know what I mean? But a lot of the Texas Chainsaws, Halloween, the Halloweens and things like that, I'd say they're my favourite ones. So
were they kind of your first horror movies that got you into horror kind of thing, or
did you
see something before?
Well, I think the first films that I really watched in terms of horror were Child's Play and Pennywise, because my mum is a big horror fan. So we used to watch.
So she kind of passed it on to you. You weren't like.
Yeah. So we used to just kind of watch those sort of films together. I think a lot of the time I shouldn't have been watching, but it was kind of too late.
Yeah, well, we did do that at kids, though, didn't we? Like I said, you wouldn't show them to an 8, 9, 10-year-old, but back then you did.
Yeah.
Or we tried to sneak and watch them somehow we can,
Yeah, no, I think that's mostly what I did with things. I was watching things when I shouldn't have been. Basically, that type of thing.
So out of them films, is there a director who's inspired you, or is it like anything that you look up and think of him when you got into it now? Do you go like, I'm going to look him up and see what his ways of making films and
I don't really. I kind of like listen to directors than rather than think right. Because a lot of me inspirations, a lot of time when I see them, I don't know who directed the film
yeah,
and that sort of thing. So when it comes to directors, it's one of those like I'd say it's outside of horror where some of like a lot of the best techniques from directors I've seen. Like how Scorsese does things, with long shots and things like that.
it's more the cameras for you, either.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it is more the angles that they're using, and I really like the long shot, and I like how Scorsese does sort of that. As a famous, the restaurant scene in Goodfellas. So yeah.
Well, it's good now we've got drones because I see that you've used drones in your
Oh,
film. Because back in the day it would be an helicopter shot. We can't afford an helicopter, so
helicopter. But that's the good thing about a drone. You can just go anywhere with it. And, I take mine everywhere I go with me, really, just in case I see something.
that's it though. Because you could be just walking about and think, do you know what, this is a good area. I'll just capture this.
Yeah, and then it's like, when you've not got the camera with you, because you can't take it everywhere because of the size of it and the trap.
Yeah.
Well, so it's just good, like with drones now. And I just think you can do so much more, like as the art of filmmaking. It's not just about putting it up into the sky, filming what's below it. It's good for you to have that bit of movement on it. You can still, do a really good shot. That's the way I like to do things.
Yeah. Do you actually like go on walks then? Because like I said, I find like when I go on walks and you think this is a nice area, like I said, but as a film director, you might actually when you walk and go, this is a mint area. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then come back with your drone.
A lot of the time, I just remember places, and then when we get to location scouting, I'm like, right,
I remember visiting there. Yeah.
yeah, like I want to go and film here and things like that. So yeah, so a lot of the time, it's just down to remembering places. That's kind of how I do things. I never really particularly go on a walk. Oh, let's see if I can find somewhere to film unless I've got something urgent coming up, like a show reel or something like that, or a music video that I'm not going to have as much pre-production time for. So, yeah.
Well, we had Ashley Lister on a couple of weeks ago who writes horror books, and we discussed about the kind of making a horror film or a horror book or a horror movie, TV show, stuff like that.
Mm.
And what I said I liked was psychological,
Yeah.
getting in your head more than actually just showing as much blood as you can. So, what do you like? Do you like to see, like I said, is it just slashers, like as many kills, as much blood as possible, or do you actually like getting into the audience brains and freaking them out, kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I've just done a psychological horror with Lawrence Harver from The Human Centipede.
Yeah,
So we've kind of just explored another area of
that definitely did mess with my head, the human centipede.
it messed with a lot of people.
But that's
yeah.
what I'm saying, though. But that's what the point is. I think there's people who like to be scared, like that person coming out the door straight where you jump, or person who's, like I said, cutting people up, slashers. And then there's some where you just put a spooky little 8-year-old in the corner, and that freaks me out.
Yeah.
So
It's all kind of different forms, isn't it? Like, but I think with like I like to do slashers because you can create the character, that you want to push forward with. Like we've got a film called Scarface, which is out later this year, which is another slasher, and it's and the thing is with like you're doing slasher films, there's a lot more practical effects going into it. You can do stuff in post, but you don't want to rely on that. So that's kind of why I like it. It's an art form in itself. Like if
yeah, because you've got to get the blood right, because you don't want it to look too fakeish in that sense, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
well, on Boarhog we actually made our own. It's just like cocoa powder, and then just a load of sugar to get the thickness and flour,
Yeah.
like food colouring and things like that. People were saying, "Oh, it tastes too sweet." I was like, "Well, you're covered in blood. In real life, you would not be comfortable at this point." uh, so, but yeah, but like, it's just like loads of practical things, that you can do. In horror without giving any of the secrets away and things, so you can use like, you have like the syringe, you can fill that with blood for the blood spatters and things like that. If you need to use a mannequin, you can do that. All sorts of things that that are just crazy. Might take a while to set up, but it's worth it when you get the final product on camera.
Yeah. So you mentioned Scorsese there, like, so when you're watching like non-horror films, is
Mm.
that what you're looking at? Like, can you actually enjoy the film? Are you actually looking at the camera angles, like you said, the shots, or do you actually see something on an action film or a drama or a comedy or something and go,
Oh yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Not as much comedy because it's all very simply shot. You know what I mean? Because you can't really do. It's like one thing that did really inspire me was like the Batman, the
Yeah.
late one. Just how they did all the dirty frame shots. Filming behind something, how they did the color grade, and it's just even though it's like nearly 3 hours, it has your, it don't feel like 3 hours, and I
Well,
think
it's like you said, just that scene in the cell with Batman and Joker.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all it took, but what an amazing scene it was, how it was shot and
exactly, yeah,
everything about it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
and
one simple scene, but the way they shot it, the way
yeah,
the actors
it
reacted to it, it was
was
an
brilliant.
amazing scene.
And I think it's better because in this one they made Gotham its own character, whereas the Nolan verse didn't really do that. Um, well, I don't think it did, but it had other qualities to it,
Yeah,
elements. But I think that in this, it's more like Gotham's its own character, like it was in the Arkham series, all the games. But yeah, so like I like stuff like that, and like going back to Scorsese. Um, Goodfellas is another prime example. It's 3 hours, but it doesn't feel like 3 hours because of how well it's written and things like that. Um, Another film I like that probably surprised people is Bonded by Blood.
I've
Um, it,
seen that.
it's the Essex Boys, but it's kind of like how they've done Rise of the Foot Soldiers.
All right, yeah.
It's like kind of off that, but I think it's because one of my favourite actors, Tamir Hassan's in it. So I think that's why I like it so much. But yeah, so there's lots of other things I can enjoy, and like the way some of the things are shot.
So how do you balance like jump scares, building the dread, building the atmosphere? Because you got when you're probably editing the film, you're looking at and seeing does that fit at that time or it's
Well, that's what we're having with Scorn Face at the minute. We're trying to do it like there's a bit of a Jaws inspiration going on there, like where you don't see the shark for quite a long period into the film, but stuff's still happening. So we're still battling against that and moving things about. A lot of the time, I just like to start it off. Something happens at the beginning, then just build the story, let it breathe, and then we come back to like the real tension and the real fear of what's going on.
do you like because you've got your script,
Yeah.
do you actually just start from the beginning kind of thing? Because you hear somebody going, oh, we film the middle and then we film the end and
Yeah.
then we'll do the beginning. Do you know what I mean? You think,
Yeah.
why don't you just do it as what is that? Why don't you just do it as one? Is it because the scenes there ready for the ending now, or
When it comes to filming it, a lot of the time, it's what you can get hold of first and what the availability is of things. Like location might just only be available on that date. That might be your big ending scene, but you've only got it on this date, so you might have to go and film it first. So that's what it all kind of comes down to. Like with me, it's just what's simpler to schedule. What we can get in easier. Like say if we've got like a short scene in a gym, for me, like, well, yeah, let's just go and get that done, you know, because it's only a short scene. Well, let's get that done first, kind of thing. So that's that kind of how it goes with filming things. I think every project's
Or
different.
like you said, the actors' availability, long
Yeah,
days, short days. Oh, we've got a short day. We can fit this into it.
yeah. It all depends because you've got to be realistic of what you can get done in that day, because otherwise it just becomes stressful. Um, so yeah, a lot of the time it is all depending on what's available at the time. If everything's going to be available, everything's flexible, you can just go in order, film it chronologically. But a lot of time it never works out that way.
Does it make much of a difference? Like, is it easier to film it in order, or is it just as easy to film it out of order and then stitch it together?
I think it would, because you kind of, if you was to shoot a film in order, like you kind of seeing the scripts play out for yourself as it's read, you
Yeah.
know, as it's written.
Instead of seeing the end first and then having to go back and do the beginning and just go.
Yeah, a lot of the time, you have to keep on top of continuity and things like that. So that can happen, things like that. But yeah, it would be easy to just film in order, but a lot of the time, it never works out that way because your availability of not just actors, crew, locations, and or sometimes it's just a scene you really want to shoot first. You know what I mean? So, scene that you love, you can't wait to see what.
Or maybe you go like, I want to shoot that scene to see if it actually works because I might have to do a little rewrite or something. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes it's like that. You've got to see what's working. Like I think with the psychological horror we just did, a lot of that was filmed in order. It wasn't all the way in order, but it was as close to as we could get. So yeah.
Have you ever tried different actors in different roles? Like, say you've gone to the person, say a lady, and you said you're going to play Lucy, let's call her, and then you're going to play Sarah, and then you've seen him on screen, and then you think, let's have a switch about it and see what Or
No,
have you just gone, no, you are my Lucy,
yeah,
kind of thing? Yeah.
no, because a lot of the time, with auditions, I'll get people in, and they'll read for different roles. So they might read for 2 or 3 roles that day. So I've seen them, in both. So a lot of the time, a lot of that stuff happens in the audition room.
But does that not change when it's camera? You know what I mean? On the day of filming, can you not go, actually, I may have got it wrong in the audition? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never really noticed it when it's been on camera. It's more been like, in the audition kind of thing. But I've had people in and thought, their role should have been bigger. Oh, we shouldn't have offed them. We should have kept them alive till the end. And
yeah, you're gonna get that. You are gonna get that.
Yeah, so but yeah, so a lot of the time it's just been like, yeah, that role should have been bigger and things.
So, music-wise, how do you deal with music? Because I suppose you can't like using licensed music because you've got to pay for it, haven't you? So it must be difficult to find, or is it just like horror music that you can find, or?
Well, we always go through composers. So there's a lot of there's a big market for horror composers. There's a lot of them out there.
Okay.
So there's always people emailing in saying, I've seen your film on IMDb, or I've seen it here, wherever it is, and they're always like, I want to compose a score for the film. So you get things like that. I know a lot of unsigned artists myself as well, so I can just get them in to if I just need a track or something like that, just like a punk track, it'd be easy for me to get hold of and things.
You do your own music as well, don't you? Do you do music, or is it just the music videos that you do?
I just do music videos.
Right.
Yeah, so I do a lot for a guy called Mark himself.
Right.
An artist, so I do a lot of his music videos.
Are you in them as well?
I've been in, according to IMDb, I'm in one of them, and I don't even remember seeing myself. I was a news reporter apparently, like.
Right.
But I've never seen myself in the video. I've not really been in the music videos. I think there's one drone shot of me flipping the bird.
That's why you're not in any music videos.
Yeah.
That was the start and the end of his career.
Yeah, so let's cut that bit out.
The end of the career of music videos. But yeah, no, it's not really been in my interest to be in an actor in the music videos. I'd rather let someone else come in, and have that. But yeah, maybe I'll start casting myself in them. But I like to be behind the camera more.
Yeah.
So, like you say, going back on the auditions, what you're looking for like, because a lot of people know they want to like that person. It's like TV shows. TV shows, you can write a good TV show, but everybody always likes that one character or that two characters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you always know anybody who likes any show on the planet will say, I like that person.
Yeah.
I like that person. I like that person. So I suppose it's got to come across when you're auditioning. You've got to say, like I said, that let's go back to that Lucy and say Lucy's got to be likable, or Lucy's got to be a bitch, or Lucy's got to be,
I kind of like do it where if it's like someone who's going for the role of like protagonist, kind of like a know, like, and trust kind of thing. So how they come across that as that in the audition, can they get to the point where the viewer can do the know, like, and trust kind of thing with them. So yeah, it depends on like a lot of things, how they are with the other person they're doing audition with, because a lot of the time they're not going to be, especially in the audition, they're not going to be on their own in it. They're going to be, they're going to have somebody else to bounce off. How it normally works. Say if we've got two actors, I'll get them in, and they'll say, right, they're going to read for both parts they're doing, and then they do it once, and then they switch about, and we just go from there, really. Yeah.
With Boarhog, what was the taking the mask? Was it taking the mask off? Because I thought that it was like like Michael Myers and stuff like that. They keep it on and just having him in the corner scares the living daylights of people, of kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when it was with Boarhog and I was watching, and then you saw him take the mask off, I was like,
yeah,
should have kept it on, but then
yeah, I think a lot of it is he wanted that last moment with Faye.
Yeah.
Kind of. I think it's kind of like I want you to know that I did this to you. That sort of thing. And he wanted like
because they're battling all the way through the film, really, aren't they? So
yeah.
Can understand. It's like a love-hate relationship, and together, and
it's because it's like with Faye. I think it's like I want you to know that I did this, but I still want to know why Trey me. Well, if someone does something like that to you, and when you think that there's something there between you, you're gonna want to know why.
Yeah.
So like, and I think a lot
it was personal, wasn't it? So.
Yeah. And I think we Troy sat down, lay down there, even though he's got half his face missing at the time. It's like, still, I did this to you, I got one up on you. Don't forget that, because you got to remember what he said in Troy's face about 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
I don't know what I can say on this podcast, but yeah. It's like, that whole alpha male, I'm the alpha male, I'm a dominant person here, kind of thing, look at all this testosterone I've got, and you haven't got as much. I think it's that kind of thing with Brecknell. So I think, him taking the mask off, that's generally why. He wouldn't do it for anybody.
Yeah, like I don't care. I'm the man. I'm me anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered if you know who it is, but I'm going to tell you it's me because I want everybody to know it's me.
Yeah, like he wouldn't do it to anybody else because it doesn't really matter. Like he wouldn't do it to me playing Benja because Benji wouldn't really care anyway, and he's just got no real history with Benja to do that to him. Like it's the same with like when he's in the forest with Phil, even though what happened in the slaughterhouse, he's still not got enough reason to let him know that take off the mask. I did this to you, by the way. He knows by that point who it is, so he doesn't really need to do that. But yeah, with that, it was just like, I want you to know this is me. I've got one up. I was always above you.
So if there's young people watching this, who probably shouldn't be watching it, with the horror. But what advice can you give them, like getting into the industry?
I think at first it's got to be like, what is it you want to be known for? What is it that's drawing you to it, kind of thing. I think it's always got to be, you've always got to do what you want to be known for, and then basically just go from there. Um, and just go out. Honestly, just go out there and make your mistakes and see how things work
So
out.
that's it, isn't it? A lot of people just think they can just do one video or one film or one thing and just go, it'll blow up. And if it doesn't blow up, I give up, kind of
Yeah,
thing. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
all about trying, and it trial and error. Like we're saying, go back to the comedians. No comedian starts and goes, "Oh, I'm on TV straight away."
no,
They
no.
have to work all the clubs. Musicians, they have to go and work the clubs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think like with younger people getting into the industry, you've just got to think why you want to do it, and what you want to be known for in it, and always keep hold of them two things. Never lose them all the way through, even if your first film does really well and we're off. You've always got to think why you started, why you wanted to get into it, and always try and stick to what you want to be known for in the industry. And in all honesty, these days, like Simon Pegg was saying it a few weeks ago, these days, you can just go and do it. There's that much access now with technology. You can make short little TikTok films, and that could build you a bit of an audience. It's like now with phones and the technology getting a bit more advanced with them, it's a little bit easier to make a good film. Whereas, I remember when I started out, getting the actual camera to film stuff on was a lot dearer than what a phone is now, like an iPhone. So
Hmm.
it was always difficult, and like the sound on these phones is really good. So a lot of the time, if you've not got money for sound equipment, you don't really have to worry about it at that stage. So it's one of those. It's easy to get into, but you need to have a plan in your head of you need to know why you're doing it first of all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it is does come down to that trial and error. Like,
yeah,
don't give up. Like you said, if you've got that dream to say I'm going to be that, then
yeah.
you're going to be it. And if you're not, you're not. It's that simple, really.
Yeah, you've just got to kind of keep sight of what the mission statement's been from the very start. Because I think if you start to lose that, you start to sell your soul, and you start to do things. You'll get involved with things that are going to make you miserable. Get involved with projects that are going to make you miserable because you don't realise it because you keep forgetting why you started and what you want to be known for. You just kind of see, oh, someone's going to pay me to do this short film, but I'm really going to hate it, or something.
Yeah. I don't want to be on set. I don't want to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I'm going to do this music video, or I'm going to do this feature film, and and then you get there and it's like, this isn't what I got into it for. It can become a dark place when you get like that. So it's always important to remember why you started and what you want to be known for.
So you're not going to play the prince on Snow White then, Cinderella, stuff like that? No, it's not for you.
No, no. Well, I did. I auditioned for Cinderella, didn't I? Not actual Cinderella. I weren't going to play Cinderella.
Or
I
was
was.
you not? Oh,
I was going to play the Baron. I don't
I've got
even.
to say that's a great horror film for your next one. You as
I don't.
Cinderella.
I don't even know what the Baron is, but there was quite a few zeros on the contract, so I was like, so, right, yeah, I'll audition for that. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I didn't get the part, and it's probably best I didn't. So
But
yeah,
like you said, you probably didn't get it because what you've just said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I played a good role. I did a good audition. They said, but yeah, it was just like I didn't even know what the Baron was, and it was a last minute audition as well. But yeah, so people keep suggesting to me Boarhog the musical, but I think unless we're really gonna go Rocky Horror Picture Show with it, that's never gonna.
Borg the musical, I can see it now.
Yeah, I keep getting mithered about it, and And it's like, from one friend who works in radio, and it's like, yeah, but unless you go really Rocky Horror Picture Show on it, and you know, I just don't think I've got the patience for a music.
No. You've not got time
Especially
anyway.
like I
You've
said,
got
live on the show on the day, you know.
Yeah, I got offered to do a musical a couple of years back, and I was just like, no, this is something I really don't want to do.
you've got a Boarhog 2 in the works, haven't you? Though at the moment, is that
Yeah,
coming
so
up or?
we're going to start crowdfunding it. We have started, but there's just a few things we need to tweak on the crowdfunder. So the script is written. It needs a bit of going over. But yeah, script's written. Reese is on board. I'm on
I'm
board.
still trying to audition for Timon, and then I find out it's not the Timon and Pumbaa, so.
Different
Reese is
Boarhog.
on board again.
Yeah.
I'm on board, obviously. Yeah, that's who we've got at the minute.
So do you want to talk a little bit about your crowdfunding? Because like you said, the one thing that I've noticed, which I don't notice a lot about other people, is you're offering rewards for actually funding you.
Yeah. So basically, you can be a producer on it. You can get mashed up by the Boarhog. You can just be in it in a simple standard role, if that's what you want. You know, so with people investing in it, they can get merchandise as well. So it all depends, like, you know, what how much they put in. It's one of those, the more you put in, the more you get back. But no matter what's donated, there is a special thanks on the film for these people, and there is a special thanks, you know, in the IMDb credits. With Boarhog 2, you know, we want to help a lot of people out in different communities. Like, you know, we want to try and get disabled people into working on set, you know, or just being on set, you know, and people with disadvantages being on set and things like that. So basically, you know, we're trying to reach out to people, you know, who didn't think something like that could be possible for them. And then you come and, you know, and it's a great memory for them. It's a great experience. They've done something that they thought they'd never be able to do.
So do you want to tell the listeners where they can go and find that?
Yes, it's actually on Crowdfunder. That's the website, but you can find it it's on Boarhog's Facebook page already. It's on my Facebook page already, Director Craig Quinn. You can find it on Instagram as well. The link's in the bio. If you follow me on Instagram, it's the recently deceased. Just click on that, you'll find the link there.
Excellent. See, that's what I'm saying about you giving back as well. So that's fantastic, you know, and that's what we're all about because we're a community. So for you doing that as well, it's amazing.
Yeah. Because, you know, it's not just about, you know, you always build, like, you know, a filmmaker family, and, you know, and that's not happened through just take for any of us. You know, the people who've come around and stayed around, you know, it's because, you know, it's always been a two-way street. We've always helped each other out, and you know, that's what we want to do. You know, we want to add numbers to that. You know, where they can give us something, we can really help them as well. You know, by giving them a new opportunity, a fresh opportunity, you know, that they might not get anywhere else.
So how are you going to deal with that, with people's fears of coming, like you just said, with people with disabilities and stuff like that, coming on set? Are you equipped to handle stuff like that and just keeping everybody calm, collective, introducing yourself kind of thing, you know what I mean? And
yeah, because we have like a lot of crew members who are experienced in that line of work, and so a lot of it, and it's something I have done before. You know, I have had disabled people and people with disadvantages on set. So, you know, I've been a youth worker in my time. So yeah, so I've seen a lot of it around all that. So we are equipped to deal with that sort of thing.
Oh, that's honestly fantastic news. That it is. It's brilliant that what you do.
Thank you.
So, what's the biggest misconception about directing a horror?
It's fun 24/7.
Yeah.
No.
It's not.
It's Like, you know,
at 3 o'clock in the morning covered in blood
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
cold.
Well, things like that aren't bad. It's just when it's always worse when you've got someone who's not really been around horror much, like an actor, and it's like they don't really understand why they have to lie there covered in blood for like 3-4 hours, and it's like, well,
Yeah, they think they just turn up 5 minutes, get me slashed, and off I go.
yeah, like some actors can be like that, but it's like with a lot of it, as you're doing it step by step, and you know, and if there's a bit of a atmosphere going on, it's a bit like, whoa, this is kind of, you know, throwing us off a little bit. But yeah, I think like with a lot of it, it's the challenges you're going to face. You know, there's a lot of challenges, a lot of things you have to overcome. And I'll tell you one thing: not many actors can scream.
Right. Well, it's on cue, isn't it? Like it says, scream now. What? What?
What they openly say, I can't scream, and I'm like, well, we're going to have to learn quick, aren't we?
Is that why everybody uses that Wilhelm scream? Is it just because people can't scream, so we'll just use the same recording of somebody screaming? Because it was used in all the Star Wars films, wasn't it? Is it Wilhelm scream or something?
Yeah, yes, but but you get a lot of actors who can't scream,
Yeah.
and I always say if especially like if it's a female actress, I say, well, Joseph Quinn did it in Stranger Things. He did it really good. So come on, let's be having it. You know, think
It
Joseph.
could also be that overreaction though as well, can't it? You know,
Yeah.
like that. You go, I can scream or I can't scream. Right, scream, and then you scream and you go, what was that? You oversold it or you overthinking it. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it just actually made me realise actually there, just thinking how important actually the scream is.
Needs to be natural, doesn't it? You know.
It is. That's what I mean. Yeah, you got to have it natural. You can't just.
Yeah, you've got to have a bit of a natural scream going on. But yeah, I don't fill a lot of my films up with screaming. It's more like shots, reactions, or them trying to fight back, or them running away, kind of thing. So yeah, I think with the scream, I think when we was on set of Boarhog, Beth McShane could do it. That's why I had to do it. Kate Norgan could do it. That's why she did it. They were playing Dee Dee and Adriana. They could do it. But yeah, I know that we was having like a lot, but just in general in horror, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we get someone in. Right, so in this bit of the script, you scream. I can't scream. All right.
I want to be in a horror.
Yeah.
I want to be the girl dying, but I can't scream.
No.
So it's like, right, so now we have to like, you have to kind of like vocal coach them on it. And a lot of the time they get it, you know what I mean? They just get like, right, you know, just bring it from the lungs, you'll be fine. Let's go.
What about the uncomfortable scenes, shall we say? What they like to like film? Because obviously they'd be like, is there more takes or is there like, yeah, is there?
Well, a lot of it's done with an intimacy coordinator. So a lot of the time I like to step back from that and let
them do it.
yeah.
Any problems, deal with him.
Nothing to do, you know. But yeah, a lot of it's just down to you know, we'll have an intimacy coordinator, and I like them to direct what's going to go on. Then I just film it because I like, you know, their work to come through rather than mine.
Do they have that piece of paper where you go, you can't touch it, you can't touch it, you can't touch it, you can't touch it?
Yeah. Well, but a lot of the time, you know, with those sort of scenes, it depends how comfortable the actors are with each other, and it depends where the chemistry is. This is why, you know, you get your auditions right. You know, you need the chemistry there. If you've not got that, you know, those sort of scenes will become uncomfortable to film. But with a lot of those scenes, we've never had an issue. You know, we've never really had an issue with the chemistry of actors because we've got it right in the auditions. So when it comes to them dealing with the intimacy coordinator, they've always been fine. They've never really been a problem, those sort of scenes.
Do you see any films now, like horror-wise, that you know, going to hit the highs? Like you know what I mean? Like in 20 years, you go, they're gonna watch that again. You know, like because we're all still talking about like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. You know what I mean? There's not really much talk except for Out the Clown, obviously Terrifier, but that again only got took off by TikTok.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big film, and then TikTok did the thing, and then it just went, oh, everybody blew up, and everybody loved Out the Clown.
Yeah. I think Heart Eyes had real potential.
Which is that? Sorry,
Heart Eyes.
Heart Eyes.
I think it had real potential, but they went more down the rom-com road after the beginning. But I thought at the beginning, yes, this is going to be the next Friday the 13th or whatever. And then they just went down the rom-com avenue. As a horror fan, it's good for the first 15 minutes. And then it's all right after that, but it's just...
Like you said, in the 80s and 90s, we didn't care because, like you said, you could do 15, 20 Jason films. Even he dies at the end, he comes back. He dies at the end, he comes back. Dies at the end, he comes back. But nobody cared. I don't think you could probably get away with that now, could you?
Not as much. I think now people are just going to be... People want to question things too much. Like, he won't survive that because, his spinal cord would be ripped. In a wheelchair for life. You're going to have some people now, when you do a stabbing scene, they're not dead because, that wouldn't have caused any...
They want to bled out from that. Oh, yeah. It's an artery.
That wouldn't have caused any damage to the 5 chambers of the heart. You're going to have to start doing things like that now, like really being specific, like, having you kill it. Oh, there goes the aorta. There we go.
You're just going to have to just chop everybody's heads off and go, there you go. That's it. They're dead.
You're going to have to actually just show the left ventricle on the floor. But like, I think now, I think you can do it still. I still don't think it matters, like, from a horror point of view, They explained it well in Stranger Things, didn't they, with Vecna, like,
Yeah.
Well, he got set on fire, but the Abyss took him. Oh, okay.
We can now. I think like the Marvel universe, I think opened up all that by saying there's different Earths, there's different universes, so you can do what you want now, basically, can't you?
So as long as we just
this is Michael Myers from Earth 27, so it's fine.
Yeah, as long as we just write in. Oh, but there was an Abyss. An Abyss turned up and sucked them in. We're good. We can keep.
So we can see the Boarhog getting sucked in a mist.
Yeah. Well, just wait. Just got sucked into the Abyss, and he came out. He ended up in Norwich. That's how he got.
He went for a wormhole and ended up in Norwich.
Yeah, he got the train back. He had to change quite a few times. He had to hide in the toilet cubicle because he didn't have a ticket, you see.
He had to get his cup out and shake his first change to get his ticket.
Is this going to be in Boarhog 2?
Yeah,
this is Boarhog 2, isn't it?
Yeah. Boarhog goes to Norwich for the day.
He just got sucked out in Norwich, had to hide in the toilets because he didn't want to get a fine because he had no ticket. Got to Preston, everything was great. Replacement bus. Of all the things that will go wrong, it was a replacement bus back to... Oh, dear. Yeah, so as long as you've got an Abyss, you're going to be fine. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there was always a cop out at the end, isn't there? There's always something.
Yeah, it was like, Michael Myers got decapitated. And what was it? Which one was it? Was it Halloween?
He got everything, didn't he? He got burned, he got drowned, He got decapitated, he got everything, I think. And
then it turns out it's just the guy dressed up as him.
And it got confusing because there was Jason as well, a guy with an hockey mask and a guy with a skin. It's like, they both look the same.
It's a mad idea, just some guy with a William Shatner mask has a bad day. Goes around offing people, So... but it's still it's one of the greats, isn't it? So
it is, and that's why I said I think it's because of that psychological of no, you have him on your t-shirt there, you see, Halloweens.
Yeah,
Halloweens, yeah, monthly tea club.
So apart from Boarhog 2, what else have you got lined up for this year? You do a few Comic Cons and events, don't you? So have you got anything lined up? Any public appearances or anything?
At the moment, I'm just at Horrorwood. on the is it the 28th of February? Yeah.
It is, yep.
So yeah, I'm there with Joe Malone's coming with me from Scarn Phase. So we'll have a bit more information on that. Reese Ryan's going to be there as well, you know, from Boarhog. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of stuff there about, you know, probably about the crowdfunder and things like that, or just, you know, whatever people want to bring to us, you know. that's what we'll do. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think that just about brings us to the end of the podcast.
Okay.
But before we go, I'm going to hand over to Paul because we've got a new feature which we guinea pigged last week and it went really well. And this is the 5 random questions. So
Yeah.
Paul's going to draw 5 random questions out of his Guardians of the Galaxy bin.
It's the Galaxy bucket. These 5
yeah.
random questions come from the Galaxy, not me, mate. I don't know where these came from. They just put them through the void, like you said. They went to Norwich, came back, and
So we can't blame Paul for this.
so yeah, you can't blame me. You have to blame the Galaxy for this, mate.
Yeah.
So these will be 5 random questions. You've probably never ever been asked before in your life.
Okay.
But they're fun. They're nothing too serious. So here we go. Question number 1 is, Burger King or McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Good
For the
choice.
Galaxy.
See, it tells a lot about people, you see. I told you. I already don't like him now.
For the main reason, you wouldn't get a Galaxy Caramel McFlurry at Burger King.
Well, there's no explanation, mate. They're just random questions.
All right, yeah. I just thought, you know, it felt like I had to explain myself.
No, it tells you a lot about people. Like I said, I've just learned loads off you just by saying McDonald's, you see. So this next question is, same again in a sense, is fast food or home-cooked meal?
Home cooked meal.
Third question, we have smart or a kind person?
Oof.
Kind.
Kind person.
Yeah.
Number 4 is cookies or chips. Did a lot of food questions tonight.
Cookies.
Paul
And
doesn't
then
agree with
last
that.
but not least is, do you snore?
Apparently.
So you've never recorded yourself?
No. But according to reviews, I do snore. So, yeah.
Reviews of what?
Just reviews
Your
of-
sleeping habits.
Yeah, just, you know, people who've witnessed such acts in
Right.
real time.
Makes
apparently-
sense.
Well, I did say there were 5 random questions, and there you go.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
No, thanks, guys. Thanks very much.
We'll both see you at Horrorwood in a couple of weeks. Well, in a few weeks, plus we'll both be there. Looking forward to that. And good luck with Boarhog too.
Thanks, guys. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Thank you very
Craig.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
See you, mate.
very much.
Bye.